Welcome to another installment of How to Speak Midwestern. This time, as you can probably see, we're going to talk about Chicago speech. If you've seen the Saturday Night Live Superfans skits with George Wendt and his friends talking about the Bears, you're probably familiar with the classic Chicago accent. That's an accent that's still heard in Chicago, but it's only spoken by a small minority of Chicagoans, mainly older white residents in blue-collar suburbs and all-white neighborhoods on the northwest and southwest sides, which are heavily populated by families that have lived in Chicago for generations. There's a colloquial term for kind of a salt-of-the-earth Chicagoan with a heavy accent, and it's called a D's, dem, and does guy. And that comes from the fact that they pronounce those words with a D instead of a TH. That's a feature that's common in a lot of urban accents, and it originates from the fact that English is one of the few languages that has the TH sound. So when immigrants came over here, they couldn't pronounce it. They would say duh, dis, or dat, and they would pass it on through the generations. A great place, if you're looking for a place to hear the classic Chicago accent, is a tavern at 100th and Western called Wrong's Tap. I was there for a Bears game a few years ago, and I heard a guy ask, what are the squares for this quarter? And the answer came back, 0 and tree. And that's how you count on the south side of Chicago. 1, 2, tree. I mentioned that it's mainly the classic accent is mainly heard among white speakers. Chicago, being a very segregated city, also has some of the most extreme accent segregation of any American city. African Americans will not use the classic Chicago accent. When they came up here, they were isolated in South Side ghettos like the Black Belt, and they tended to maintain the speech they brought with them up from the South. So here are some Chicago words and phrases that will help you sound like a real Chicagoan. If you want to sound old school, pronounce the city's name Chicago, like the dailies do. Dibs. In Chicago, competition for street parking is fierce, especially in the winter. If you shove a lot of space on your block, you call dibs by reserving it with lawn chairs, sawhorses, or other cast-off possessions. Drivers who violate dibs are likely to find key tracks on their paint jobs, or worse. Front room. The front room of a bungalow or a flat overlooking the street. The front room contains the family's best furniture, but it's only used to entertain company or open Christmas presents. Gangway. A sidewalk running through a narrow space between two houses. Gym shoes. That's an almost uniquely Chicago term for sneakers or athletic shoes. Trixie. Trixie is a usually blonde-haired young woman living in Lincoln Park. Preoccupations include shopping at spendy boutiques, drinking cocktails at the bar associated with her Big Ten college, and summer weekends at the Michigan cottage of boyfriend Chad's parents. In her 30s, Trixie marries Chad and moves to the suburbs, becoming Deerfield Trixie. Wear the jacket. During a political scandal, an underling who takes the fall for his boss's misdeeds is said to wear the jacket. Geez, the building department hired a union president's 19-year-old son as an inspector. Who's going to wear the jacket for that? Those are just a few terms that will help you speak Chicagoese. I'll be back later with another installment of How to Speak Midwestern.